Okay, so we're back. Okay.
Welcome one and all to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Today was the third day of testimony in the Senate impeachment trial of Donald Trump. Now, we've heard bank it down. We've heard a detailed description of perhaps the greatest abuse of power ever by a U.S. president, and turns out America is watching. In fact, day one of Trump's impeachment trial drew 11 million viewers.
Whoa!
That's a lot of people, okay? That's not Super Bowl ratings, but it's at least Puppy Bowl ratings. Though that's not really fair to compare puppies to U.S. senators. The puppies still have their balls.
Yep, that's true.
What do you need?
I'll tell you all about it in tonight's Dawn and the Giant Impeach.
What do you need to keep these refugees warm? Blankets, warm clothes.
President Zelensky,
These poor
I
sods
want
lost everything when the Mages and the Templars went crazy. If we were in a
As we
village,
speak,
I could just pinch a
the
blanket
Democratic
from a
House
clothesline and be
managers
fine.
are still making
Out
their
here,
case, and they're trying to
surely
keep it
apostates
simple.
have plenty of
Like when
supplies,
Jerry
just haven't been
Nadler
able to
tried to
find them.
explain why crime
Farewell.
is bad.
I'd see you.
The framers had three specific offenses in mind: abuse of power, betrayal of the nation through foreign entanglements, and corruption of elections. You can think of these as the ABCs of high crimes and misdemeanors: abuse, betrayal, and corruption.
Ooh, ABC, that's good. Now let me try a simple one. The impeachment 1, 2, 3s. Trump never won the popular vote. He's too corrupt to have the job, and 3 years is really enough.
Okay, so that's what I'm doing wrong.
Now,
I keep forgetting it's much more difficult to navigate the terrain.
Nadler took a minute to burn Lindsey Graham with Graham's own words.
Then House Manager Lindsey Graham, who in President Clinton's trial flatly rejected the notion that impeachable offenses are limited to violations of established law. Here is what he said.
What's a high crime? How about if an important person hurts somebody of low means? Doesn't even have to be a crime. It's just when you start using your office and you're acting in a way that hurts people, you've committed a high crime.
All right. That seems like hypocrisy, but that was Lindsey 20 years ago. People change. Views evolve. Spines disintegrate.
Yeah.
Now, the trial days have been done for hours and hours. There's a lot of tension. In order to be ready for the late night, Iowa Republican Chuck Black has been sleeping in until 7:20 a.m. Wow, 7:20 a.m. No wonder he looks so well rested. By law, senators are supposed to sit quietly and pay attention, but today, according to reporters in the gallery, Senator Burr has a fidget spinner. Rand Paul has twice the steps of the Capitol going, and Marsha Blackburn is reading a book. That book, Chicken Soup for When You Sold Your Soul.
Yeah.
It's a fine book. It's a fine book. Wow. Fine book. Interesting. The rules also say they're supposed to stay in the room for the entire trial, but during last night's session, Lindsey Graham left the Senate chamber for over 20 minutes. When a reporter asked him where he went, Graham replied, to the bathroom. 20 minutes in the bathroom. Those are teenage numbers. Lindsey, what's going on in there? Are you on the phone? Are you on the phone getting marching orders from the White House? No, I swear I'm masturbating. Not believable. Not believable, but it's not just Republicans who were walking out. The trial did not end last night, but Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein walked out of the Senate chamber at 8:45. She said good night to two reporters standing nearby and left the Capitol. Well, that's a bold new take on the Democrats' battle cry. When they go low, we go home. One reason senators might be ditching is that no electronics are allowed in the Senate chamber during the trial, which has caused some lawmakers to revert to more primitive means of communication like passing notes. We actually got our hands on one of the notes Do you like covering up Trump's crimes? Yes, no, or God will never forgive what we have done. All of the above? All of the above? But you know, if senators are looking for things to do without their phones, we've created an activity book they can play called 101 Fun Things to Do in the Senate Other Than Pay Attention to Impeachment. It's loaded with puzzles like getting money to Ukraine through the maze of corruption, spot 6 differences between these two impeachments, and if those two are too hard, connect one dot. Sunday. One dot. Some senators use the Biden for years, even because it's bored. The snack rooms are well stocked. Mouths and snacks could be seen in both the Democratic and Republican cloakrooms, and Dick Durbin referred to the bounty in the Democratic room as a Costco dump. Incidentally, a Costco dump is the real reason Lindsey Graham is in the bathroom for about 20 minutes. Like cheese balls. Like cheese balls. You okay? You okay after that? Are you okay? Well, Republicans are fighting tooth and nail to keep Trump in office. Democrats are still stumbling away at each other in the primary. I'll tell you all about it tonight. Yes, that's the floor. That's the fucking snack floor.
Hey, progressive agenda. I don't know about you, but I'm having a good time.
Here we go to the White House 2020. Big news. Thank you. Applause for our graphics department. Incredible. Yes. Big news from the campaign of former New York City mayor and man whose upstairs neighbors just started doing it, Mike Bloomberg. Bloomberg has vowed to spend upwards of $1 billion to defeat Donald Trump, and recently he announced that he plans on helping the party whoever wins the party's nomination, even if it isn't him. That is great to know. That is gratifying. That's how he got your back on that one. That's cool. That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear, but it could get awkward if Bernie is the nominee. Thank you, Mike, for the $1 billion. I promise to put it toward a worthy cause, taxing the hell out of anyone with $1 billion. But not everyone is on board with this plan, specifically Donald Trump, who tweeted, "Mini Mike Bloomberg is playing poker with his foolhardy and unsuspecting Democrat rivals. He says that if he loses, he will
Bandits ahead.
in the primaries, he will spend money helping whoever the Democrat nominee is. By doing this, he figures they won't hit him as hard. Hillary helpless. He just his campaign. They remain silent. The fact is, when he loses, he will be spending very little of his money on these
I doubt
clowns,
that's the last of them.
because he will consider himself to
According
be
to my
the
research,
biggest
the
clown
ancient
of them
elves may have
all,
set up wards
and
near
he
here.
will be right.
If we can find the artifacts they used,
Wow.
it may help strengthen this area against
I
fear.
guess I don't know how to play poker.
You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when the dams are clowns. Mike's the biggest clown, he's right.
But a long time ago, they said it's poker. It was ranked way up here to poker, way down here is punchline. But Bloomberg's not out yet. Decided he's still expanding his 2020 operation, most recently by offering fancy services like 3 catered meals daily and luring
What manner
staffers with
of
a
fire is
MacBook
that?
Pro and an
I have
iPhone
heard
11.
of this, but never seen it
By
before.
comparison, the Sanders
It is
campaign
called
team has
veil
offered
fire.
its staff a nickel for the phone booth
Form of
and a
synthetic
zoic
magic.
soap where it really looks
A
like where the
memory
horse
of
is
flame
running.
that burns in this world where the veil is thin.
Train comes into the station.
Dead.
Bloomberg's turn begins even before people get hired. One staff, being quoted by Bloomberg, said that when she arrived at her
Enough of
interview,
the
she
elven
was
artifact.
greeted with a hotel-style buffet. Ooh, a hotel-style buffet. So, a waffle station and one woman yelling, "Kelsey, the hands don't go in the oatmeal,
Yes,
Mommy
a
told
ward
you."
to help to strengthen the veil.
It's hot,
This area should be
Kelsey.
safer for travelers now.
Kylie! Twins. The president has
Something
53
is odd
senators
about
doing
those
his
rooms,
bidding at his
but I
impeachment
cannot
trial.
determine what.
But they're not alone, because this week, Trump appointed GOP House members to the impeachment defense team. But one of Trump's JV grovelers somehow got left off the team. Florida congressman and man unhinging his jaw to swallow all of Trump's lies, Matt Gaetz. Gaetz is famous for being a Trump fanboy. His campaign homepage features quotes calling him the Trumpiest congressman in Trump's Washington, Trump's ultimate defender, and Trump's best buddy. So why did Gaetz get left off the impeachment fun club? Because he dared disagree with Trump a single time. After Trump's drone strike on Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, Gaetz pushed back and voted to rein in Trump's war powers. Big mistake if your lips leave Trump's ass even for a second. Just to put on some chapstick, you're dead to him. We got a great show for you tonight. Chris Cuomo is here. When we come back, is Jon Stewart. Our first guest tonight is the host of Cuomo Prime Time on CNN. Welcome back to the Show, Mr. Chris Cuomo. Give me that. Show the people on the back of the stickers on the back of your phone.
Stick to the news.
The news is you've got unicorn stickers on the back of your phone. Look at the show the people that do
This will make a good place to
this.
camp.
The Wolf Blitzer put those there, or where
No.
you put those?
Do you have a problem with me having these on the back of my phone?
No, I want to celebrate your choices. I'm just curious how they got there.
Well, here's how. Sometimes I feel like a clear stone. Sometimes I start to get a little jaded. Sometimes I'm very sad, and that's purple. The rainbow brings me back, and it makes me feel like I was a unicorn that could eat pineapples and then spit out diamonds.
As long as it spits. You said spit, right?
Yes.
So
let's get after it.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get
So-
after it. That is your motto. Let's get after it. What are you getting
Yay.
after during the impeachment?
I have
trial?
established-
How are you getting after it?
Look, this is about one
That?
thing right now for the Democrats. Arguably, on a macro level, they want to get the story out, all right? And they're going to recycle the story and go through it with different iterations. Today, I thought they did a better job with structure, having Chairman Nadler set out what he was going to tell you and why. That's very helpful in an argument because people get lost in the sameness. But they're...
I'm sorry, what do you mean lost in the sameness?
If
I
you
thought
say-
repetition tends to drive home the point of the story.
Well, I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Okay.
Here's why.
No. I'll tell you why you're
Yeah.
wrong. Okay,
See,
there you go.
It's not,
Yes.
it's not as good. Repetition can be good with salient facts. But if you say we're here because he abused his power, because he pressured Ukraine and used aid as a lever up against an announcement of investigations against the Bidens. If you say that 15 times, yes, it can be persuasive. The president has a genius for this with voters. I'll keep saying it. Eventually you'll believe it. That won't work in that room. What you need to do is play to the preconceptions.
But wait a second, are they playing to the room, or is this in some ways playing to the people at home? Because, people have cynically said, there's no way any Republican is going to change their mind. But the public might change their mind.
Yes.
And that's the only way. They have no interest in the truth. They have a fear of their voters. And isn't the point to change the mind of the people at home?
I'm waiting for them to reward your cynicism.
No, I'm not cynical at all.
No.
Okay,
What?
go ahead.
No,
Yes.
no, please, it's your show.
Shouldn't
Well,
we travel the
evidently
Beltway
not.
now,
Go
Secret?
ahead.
No.
breach
Oh,
isn't
if
going
you
to close
insist.
itself.
What I would say is this.
Indeed.
That, yes, you're right.
The sooner we
they
obtain
want
help for the
America
breach,
to
the
understand
better.
what's going on here. It may be the first time people are paying attention, and that's understandable. In terms of moving votes in the rooms, that's where the witnesses come in.
Main
I
quest
think it's
stuff
very
real
difficult
quick.
for senators to justify not having witnesses. Why? Because this is a trial court. and you are supposed to be triers of fact, you know the record is incomplete. You know why it is incomplete. The spin is they rushed it, the House.
Do you think that when it comes after both the Democrat House managers have presented their case and then the president's team has done their rebuttal, such as it is, of that case, do you think when the vote comes up there will be witnesses brought in? Will the Republicans, will 4 Republicans break away, in your opinion?
I say yes.
And based on what?
Nothing. But
I hope you're right. I really do.
I do too. First of all, joking aside just for a second, I believe in optimism. I believe in hope. I think that one of the mistakes the media tends to make is you play to the animus, you play to the hostility, and there is a perpetuation in that. I think that we have to believe that senators will recognize their obvious duty.
I suppose this must be Master Dennett.
It doesn't have to change their vote. I actually would argue that having witnesses helps the president. Because you got to be careful what you wish for, Stephen. If you have, let's say, Bolton, Mulvaney, Blair, Duffy come in, what is this belief that they're going to say things that are so incriminating? And you may have them come on, and I think the Democrats have overplayed their hand in the past this way, where you say, if we can just get this person, if we can get just this person, but then it's not as persuasive as you hoped. So
because you think perhaps that these people do not have information?
No, they absolutely
have
have the information. The biggest problem with this, if they want to call it a sham, the sham is that you have a president who says he did nothing wrong, that everything is perfect. And he's the only person in the history of my profession of doing this, where someone had a perfect alibi and hid it from investigators. Nobody does that. Now,
so are you saying
they will say?
Wait, are you implying? I just want to get this clear. So you're saying that even if we had these 4 witnesses, which again we both hope that there will be witnesses,
yes, that would be doing their job.
That it is possible that these 4 men that you named would not go up there and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
No, I'm not saying that. You are.
I'm asking if that's what you're saying, because you're saying
I am not saying.
You're saying that they know, but they may not say it. You said
I'm not saying that.
You said
I have
think
never
that they know.
said it.
No, I asked you, and you
still
said
saying that I'm saying what I'm not saying.
You said it. You said
I never said it.
You said
I didn't think
Mulvaney
it.
is a liar.
I've never even heard it.
Mulvaney is a liar, and
I
you
never
said
said
that's
it.
not even Bolton's mustache.
I never said
said that.
Although I've heard that.
Yes,
I have heard that about the mustache.
Yes, not his mustache.
It turns out they're very easy to
take back. You said that's a tassel he stole from a stripper. You said that.
No, I did not say
Chris
that.
Cuomo said that.
I did not say that.
We have to take a break, but please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Chris Cuomo. We're going to get after it.
I heard what my man said. If you want our horses, then we need our farmers back safe in their fields. Since the breach appeared, the wolves have gone mad.
Playing Scarecrow.
They come after our men like beasts with the water sickness. You deal with the wolves, and our farmers will be safe again.
How are these wolves acting differently from normal?
Normal wolves go after livestock, but come at them with a torch and a blade and they run. These beasts, though, it's like dark spawn during the Blight, or when the dead rose to attack us.
Welcome back. We're here with Chris Cuomo.
I've lost too many men
from the Chris Cuomo Power Hour over on CNN. You're celebrating your second year, right?
Good.
Yes.
Is it coming up, or did you just celebrate it?
No, it'll come up this June. But thank you for remembering.
Yeah, I just remember when you first got the gig there at the 9 o'clock. You've been wearing pretty much the exact same outfit for 2 years. In the 3rd season, will you have a bigger wardrobe budget? Because
times are tough, Stephen.
I know I'm not there.
I do it on purpose, you know.
Why?
Well, one, it'd be weird if it by accident, right? That I wear the same thing every night. But I do it because, one, I think it doesn't matter. I think what you wear on TV doesn't matter. I'm not there for how I look. Other than all this action that I have.
Sure. The moneymaker.
Right.
The moneymaker, yeah.
And secondly, the show is no joke. The show is about getting after it, being straight, being tough, being real, getting after it. And that's what I think it suggests.
You're friends with Kellyanne Conway, right?
I am. That's an odd segue, but yes.
It's not a segue, I'm just interrupting you.
Oh.
You're friends with Kellyanne Conway, and you have her on the show fairly frequently. Or
Not as much as I used to.
When you guys would fight, what was that like to be friends with someone and have really quite, vigorous fights on air. When it's all over, is it all smiles, or does the animus continue after the camera?
I have no animus.
Does she?
Yes.
How do I mount the horse?
She knows what she is doing. It is a little bit like saying hello, you give someone a hug and a kiss, and then as they're pulling away, they stick their thumb in your eye. Repeatedly. And here's why. Kellyanne is my friend. I respect Kellyanne. I care about her. I care about her family. That bothers some people. I don't care how you feel about who I'm friends with and who I'm not. She has put herself in a position where she defends the president. I want her on television because she is very close to this president as an advisor. And what she says on TV is what he wants you to believe. And I think that is of extraordinary value.
But it's often lies.
I would give her the credit of saying she is about dissembling. She's about spinning away. She's about not answering.
What's the difference between a lie and dissembling?
A lie is...
What's the difference between lying and covering? Is it the same kind of difference there?
A lie is something you say that is intentionally wrong, and you know it, and you do it for purposes of deception. Such as, the president did not hold up the aid to Ukraine. That is a lie. Because she knows, or somebody knows, and they do it. That's not what she says. She says, you know, now you're so worried about aid to Ukraine, but you weren't when Obama was just giving them blankets. Now, did she lie? No. She spun away from it. And the job is to put her back there. And you know, you want to talk about this now, but during Clinton, the Democrats didn't have any problem with this. That's her skill set, and she is effective, which is what drives a lot of people nuts.
No, that's right.
So she's not lying, she's just protecting someone else's lie.
Yes.
So
sometimes.
Aiding and abetting someone else's lie.
Yeah, that's how you could put it. Okay. But also, look, to be fair to her, let her answer why she does what she does. I have her on the show because I think having the main advisor to the President of the United States is valuable to people, even if they oppose him. Yeah. Because it lets you see what you're dealing with, what you're up against, with the reminder that it beat you the last time.
Chris, said you had a way to help the refugees.
Cuomo Prime Time airs nightly on CNN. Chris Cuomo, everybody. We'll be right back with David Allen Greer.
Farewell.
Okay.
I do not believe, I simply do not believe that the same old politics is going to generate the excitement to create that turnout. You can't generate excitement when you're busy going to New York raising large sums of money from millionaires and billionaires. People want change. And I think that what our campaign is about is the ability to speak to working people, many of them having become disillusioned with status quo politics. People are working longer hours for lower wages, are tired of the political establishment, and want a government that stands up for them and not just the 1%. We can talk to those people.
Bernie Sanders campaigning in Iowa over the weekend, with the Iowa caucuses now just 1 week away. We are also kicking off the week of an incredible news cycle here, week 2 of President Trump's impeachment trial, and new revelations from former National Security Advisor John Bolton's upcoming book that will add ammunition to the call for witnesses. The New York Times is reporting that Trump told Bolton last August that he wanted to continue freezing critical military aid to Ukraine until government officials there helped with investigations targeting Joe Biden, his son Hunter, and other Democrats. The Times says this is all according to an unpublished manuscript. NBC News has not seen a copy of the manuscript or verified the report, which cited multiple sources familiar with Bolton's account. Now, according to the paper, Bolton writes about how the Ukraine affair unfolded over several months until he departed the White House last September. The Times notes that Bolton not only describes President Trump's private disparagement of Ukraine, but also new details about senior cabinet officials who've tried to publicly sidestep any involvement. For example, Bolton says Secretary of State Mike Pompeo acknowledged privately that there was no basis to claims by President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, that the ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, was corrupt. Bolton claims he also raised concerns about Giuliani with Attorney General William Barr following the president's July 25th phone call with the leader of Ukraine. And Bolton writes that acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney was present for at least one phone call where Trump and Giuliani discussed Ambassador Yovanovitch, despite Mulvaney telling associates he would always step away when the president spoke to his lawyer. Bolton's attorneys are blaming the White House for the disclosure of the book's contents. One of Bolton's aides say the ambassador sent a draft to the White House for review by the National Security Council. She says Bolton has not passed that manuscript to anyone else for review, period. President Trump is denying those new Bolton revelations outlined by the New York Times. He tweeted last night, in part, "I never told John Bolton that the aid to Ukraine was tied to investigations into Democrats, including the Bidens. In fact, he never complained about this at the time of his very public termination. If John Bolton said this, it was only to sell a book." Let's bring in the New York Times reporter who broke this story, MSNBC national security analyst Michael Schmidt. So first of all, can you explain what we know exactly about the release of this parts of this manuscript and who might have released it and why?
I can't really get into how we found out about the contents that are in it, but look, this is something that answers the question of what Bolton would testify to. Over the past several weeks and even months, there's been a sense, and Bolton's lawyer had said it to Congress, and then Bolton came out and said he was willing to testify, that Bolton had a story to tell. But it wasn't clear what that story was. What was he actually going to say? How was he going to illuminate this situation? And what our reporting showed is that it takes on the central defense of the Trump impeachment. The president's lawyers have repeatedly said that there was no tie between the military aid and the investigations that the president sought. But here you have the president's former national security advisor with information that takes on that contention, the central contention of impeachment.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.
Let's head back to politics now. As we told you earlier this hour, CBS News has obtained a video that appears to show President Trump telling an associate of Rudy Giuliani to, quote, take out Ukrainian Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch. The clip was recorded at a dinner in April of 2018.